Mpia says the MEC will set up a team made up of stakeholders from the taxi industry to look into solutions.
About 183 people have since perished since April of 2024. And in those particular states, there's incidents of attempted murder. That means that where there was an intention to kill, but people still live. And it simply means that it's a situation that is untenable, situation that cannot be tolerated to continue anymore. The MEC is going to establish a conflict committee comprising of 20 members, 5 aside from Santaco, 5 aside committee, 5 from Santaco in the province as well as the GNTA, and 5 from each region. That will formulate 20 strong people who will insist and ensure that we don't have any further bloodshed moving forward.
Meanwhile, the National Taxi Alliance says it will engage with warring factions in Soweto to help find a resolution and ensure a ceasefire is reached. Spokesperson Theo Malele joins us now for more. Tate Malele, very good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. Perhaps just give us some of the highlights that came out of that meeting with Santaco and the MEC.
Well, good evening, Katleho. Even though you sound a little bit faint, I think I got the gist of your question. We have agreed with the MEC. Basically, the MEC had put to us her intentions of closing the rank, and we've since pleaded with her not to do so. And instead, we will be calling in the affected parties to, impress upon them the importance of, talking this matter over in order that we avoid a situation where people's livelihoods will be at stake. We understand that there are people that have invested in these businesses. Vehicles have been over, and the banks would actually take those vehicles, and the families are reliant as well on those vehicles, and other people that are employed directly and indirectly employed by the taxi industry will be affected should Section 91 of the Land Transport Act be revoked, as the MEC has alluded to. So we have pleaded with her, and she's given us an opportunity. So we basically are pouring our hearts as well to the families of the bereaved. And we are so sorry that this had to happen. And we've committed, as it has been said, to working with the MEC as she establishes this committee of members from both structures, which is the NTA in Gauteng and Santaco in Gauteng as well, together with representatives from all 5 regions in Gauteng. So this committee will be responsible to ensure that such incidences are dealt with timelessly and effectively. We've also spoken about the issue of the capacitation of taxi operators, so that they begin to learn on how to negotiate, how to deal with certain situations. Those soft crash costs should be afforded to these people. And so finally we are going to be seated down to try and address this matter. This week will pass as a mourning period, and we are hopeful that even the factions that are taking place in the Ekurhuleni area will also be dealt with simultaneously. So are the other areas within Gauteng.
Right. You speak of the threats that the MEC made to shut down the taxi ranks and the impact that would have on the industry, the families, and those that are within the business. Do you think it needed to take for that threat by the MEC for the warring factions to take a step back and really to be deterred from this war?
No, not at all, not at all. We have been urging our colleagues to actually talk about this, but we've spoken to them many a time. It is just that, this time around, we have finally drawn a line in the sand to say this far and no further. It's either we lead these people or these people are leading us. So it's our way or the highway.
I mean, what do you believe are the root causes to these recent violent taxi industry wars? We are seeing them in Ekurhuleni, like you mentioned. There's the Waten Nanduwe in Soweto. There's the Faraday in Zonkizizwe. Is there something specific that these wars at this particular time are seeming to once again flare up?
No, there isn't a clear pattern. In one area, it's about the route, and in the other area, it's about people also trying to take over a people's association. So the factors are varied, but what brought us strongly on this as well is the corrupt officials that have been identified by the government as well. And we have been told that these people have actually been dealt with, and the sanctions were such that they were dismissed, but we're not so certain if indeed that had happened. They have not been transferred to other departments, but we'll be grateful if indeed that has actually transpired.
So are there any measures that some of these taxi...
I beg your pardon, Kat. I think the other critical aspect is that the taxi industry has always advocated for the lifestyle audit of law enforcement agencies, especially those that deal with taxi-related matters, from the registration of routes to the operations themselves, conflict, you just name it, any and everything that is related to the taxi industry. The officials that are responsible to be dealing with that, they have to be alternated, and lifestyle audits have to be effected from time to time to ensure that we don't, get corrupt people once more rearing their head.
So do you think that the conflict committee that would comprise of the 20 members that would constantly be meeting with the MEC will help in finding those corrupt officials, and so that these lifestyle audits are then put forward in order for you to find some of those cracks?
Yes, we have agreed that recommendations that will come out of that committee will be implemented, because the MEC will also be presiding over this committee. It's actually going to be made out of decision makers, not people who are still going to go about in trying to find, or rather to consult. We're talking about decision makers.
So in the meantime, spokesperson, what measures are these taxi organizations currently taking to ensure the safety of not only the passengers, but of the drivers themselves, as we're seeing many lives being lost during this time?
Well, there has been a clarion call on the cessation of hostilities. And this message, we believe, has permeated through the taxi industry, and more especially those wearing factions, that there has to be a ceasefire with immediate effect. And failure with people know that there are going to be, consequences. So, like I said, it's either they listen to what the leadership advises, if not, it's the highway.
Lastly, and that Malele, I mean, we are looking at solutions in terms of how we want to see the taxi industry looking in the near future. You make mention of advocating for audits to be done on corrupt officials. You spoke about teachings of negotiating and conflict resolutions amongst the associations themselves. What changes would you like to see in the taxi industry, specifically pertaining to the violence that we are seeing?
You know, the saying that money is the root of all evil, speaks like white on rice in this, aspect. If we can remove cash and become tech savvy, like the world is doing, and have an integrated ticketing system you would have a lot of benefits, and those benefits are in this following fashion. First, the commuters would not be delayed by unscrupulous traffic officers who stop these vehicles at ungodly hours and start demanding bribes. And these vehicles, they also cause traffic jams, which also affect the economy with the stagnation of people that should be economic active being stagnated. And it also would release some pressure on the environment as well, because the carbon footprint is just increasing with cars that are forever idling. And cash is the main problem, and the behavior of drivers, we believe, will change, because there wouldn't be a stimuli that makes them to go about the way in which they are doing currently. So this will also put less pressure onto other motorists on the road, because we know for a fact that our drivers are a nuisance to motorists, and public at large. So we want to turn this corner. So removing cash and coming up with a cashless system, which has already been tried and tested. There has been trials of proof of concept that have been successful. We have begun implementing in Pretoria and Tshwane in particular, and in other areas in Johannesburg. Talks are afoot in associations to ensure that this system is brought about. So once there is no cash, even these people that collect cash for this, to commit these heinous crimes, would not be able to can function.
Most certainly. Well, with these constructive talks having started, it can only mean we are moving in the right direction. Dr. Theo Malele, thank you so much for your time. That's the National Taxi Alliance spokesperson speaking to us there off the back of that meeting that they had with the MEC.